Hello and welcome to Marycast. This is Dr. Mark Miravalle. I am very happy to bring to you information, messages in fact, from St. Joseph through an overall message called the Messages of Our Lady of America. Now, I want to give you the background on this so you're clear that we're at the heart of the church as we're talking about these very beautiful and profound messages concerning St. Joseph. Now, the overall messages under the title of Our Lady of America were a series of messages which were conveyed by Our Lady and St. Joseph to a religious sister, Sr Mary Ephrem, in the 1950s and on into the 1960s and 70s. She was a religious sister in the Archdiocese of Cincinnati at the time, and what's critically important is that the Archbishop of the time, Archbishop Paul Leopold, Archbishop of Cincinnati, was the spiritual director of Sr Mary Ephrem, later referred to as Sister Mildred. He gave the imprimatur to the messages I'm going to read to you now. So you know that they are free from doctrinal error. The imprimatur was granted by Archbishop Leopold. The nihil obstat, the theologian who studies to make sure there's no doctrinal error, the nihil obstat was given by the Archbishop-to-be, Daniel Pilarczyk, in 1963. Now, these messages of Our Lady of America are very profound, and again, we're going to focus specifically on the St. Joseph messages because they are extraordinary and something we really have to appreciate. But I do want to mention that on May 31st, 2007, Cardinal-elect Raymond Burke, who was formerly the Archbishop of St. Louis, wrote a letter to every bishop in the United States saying the following, that essentially that he had studied these messages of Our Lady of America, that he had looked at the actions of the Archbishop at the time, Archbishop Leopold, who once again was the spiritual director of Sr Mary Ephrem, gave the imprimatur. He also had a carved image of Our Lady of America commissioned. He had a medal struck concerning and gave permission for that distribution of Our Lady of America. So it was the decision and the conclusion of Archbishop Burke to state that as he examines it canonically, the messages already obtain a ecclesiastical affirmation, that they're already organically so in light of what Archbishop Leopold did, the bishop at the time of these apparitions and visions, that they already have the status of a approved church apparition. So once again, Archbishop and now Cardinal-elect Raymond Burke sent a letter to the bishops of the United States encouraging the enactment of what was requested at Our Lady of America through these visions. And also again, you have the imprimatur by the local bishop. So we are on safe ground and obedient ground as we talk about these messages. Now very briefly, the messages of Our Lady of America call for an image, a statue of Our Lady of America, to be solemnly processed into the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, the national shrine of our country, the Basilica, which is in Washington, D.C. And that if the bishops would solemnly process the image, the statue, into the national shrine, that the shrine would become a spiritual center of purity, not only for the United States, but for the entire world. Our Lady said that more miracles than Lourdes and Fatima, but miracles not of a physical nature, but of a spiritual nature, would take place in the National Basilica of the Immaculate Conception. So we encourage prayer and petition according to individual cases that indeed our bishops will comply with the letter of Archbishop Burke, and mostly the request of Our Lady that an image of Our Lady of America would be solemnly processed into the national shrine. It seems in a real sense a little cooperation for such massive potential grace that the national shrine would become a pilgrimage center for purity, not only for our own country, but from our country to other parts of the world. We desperately need purity. That's pretty clear to everyone. Now, within that context, Our Lady made reference to some beautiful truths on St. Joseph, and St. Joseph himself gives messages to the same visionary, Sr Mary Ephrem. And I say once again These messages also have the official imprimatur of Bishop Paul Leopold, of the Archbishop of Cincinnati, and the former spiritual director of the Visionary, who died in the year 2000. So let's hear what she says, and then, in fact, what St. Joseph specifically says about his role in Nazareth, his role for the church, and his role that heaven desires to be enacted right now. Again, my friends, it's a beautiful message. And of course, you can go to ourladyofamerica.org and download these yourself, or motherofallpeoples.com, and there's an article entitled St. Joseph in the Messages of Our Lady of America. So, along with the great history of what the Church already says about St. Joseph, that he is, as St. Augustine says, the virginal father, not the biological father, but the virginal father of Jesus Christ, that he's protector of the Holy Family. He's proclaimed the patron of the Universal Church in the 19th century. John the 23rd at the Second Vatican Council makes him patron of the Second Vatican Council, and he has a special role in what theologians would call protodulia, that is, that among devotion after our Blessed Mother, St. Joseph should have first place. So the love of St. Joseph and the unique sanctity of St. Joseph after Our Lady is already part of our tradition. Now let's hear how these messages will just confirm that. I'm going to read this message of October 1956, reading from the memoirs. In early October 1956, about a week after Our Lady's first appearance, St. Joseph, though I did not see him at this time, spoke to me the following words, quote, "It is true, my daughter, that immediately after my conception I was, through the future merits of Jesus, and because of my exceptional role of future Virgin Father, cleansed from the stain of original sin. I was from that moment confirmed in grace and never had the slightest stain on my soul. This is my unique privilege among men. My pure heart also was from the first moment of existence inflamed with love for God. Immediately, at the moment when my soul was cleansed from original sin, grace was infused in it in such abundance that, excluding my holy spouse, I surpassed the holiness of the highest angel in the angelic choir. My heart suffered with the hearts of Jesus and Mary. Mine was a silent suffering, for it was my special vocation to hide and shield, as long as God willed, the Virgin Mother and Son from the malice and hatred of men. The most painful of my sorrows was that I knew beforehand of their passion, yet would not be there to console them. Their future suffering was ever present to me and became my daily cross. So I became in union with my holy spouse, co-redemptor of the human race. Through compassion for the sufferings of Jesus and Mary, I cooperated as no other in the salvation of the world." Well, let's recap that powerful message. What does St. Joseph say in this first locution to Sister Mary Ephrem? He says, first of all, that he was not immaculately conceived, but a moment after conception, he was cleansed from original sin. This is something similar to being baptized in the womb. This is a privilege that St. John the Baptist had as well, but not a moment after conception, as was true of St. Joseph. He also says that from that moment on, he never had personal sin, never had the slightest stain of sin on his soul. And this is his unique privilege among men. And we're going to see that while the sanctity of St. Joseph does not in any sense compete with the particular and the exclusive hyperdulia sanctity, as St. Thomas Aquinas would say, of Our Lady, it is clearly beyond all levels of sanctity. Now, St. Joseph also says that his sanctity is above the angels, the highest angel in heaven, and that he became the co-redemptor. Now, why the co-redemptor? Jesus is the one redeemer. Mary is the co-redemptrix. She shares in his redemption. Joseph is the co-redemptor because he knew the passion. And he knew that he would not be there with Mary and Jesus. He would not be there to protect them. And this was his greatest suffering. So because of this, St. Joseph was third after Jesus and our Blessed Mother in participating in redemption. powerful message on St. Joseph. More to come in our next segment. Stay with us as we talk about St. Joseph in the messages of Our Lady of America. This is Mark Miravalle saying thank you and God bless.